We finally were able to get pregnant when Tom was finished with seminary, and so when I got pregnant, I enjoyed every single day.
We were really anticipating our family growing, and I still remember the day Joni told me she was in labor.
The delivery was very, very fast. But then they didn't put Caleb on my chest.
And we went from ecstasy to agony, like really, really fast. And the reason we did is because Caleb did not breathe.
The words I remember are lifeless, blue, and then they whisked him out of the room.
That left me and Joni in the room together, and our minds raced.
He was born with a true knot, and the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck twice.
30 minutes later, they brought back a baby that was crying and that had color in his skin. And
it seemed to me that he was normal. He nursed normally.
When he became a toddler, I noticed something about him, and that is that when Daddy would play ball with him, like any father does with his son, I'd throw the ball and it would hit him right in the head every time. And I'm like, I guess my son's a klutz.
They gave him pure oxygen when he was born, and in order to save his life, they had to hurt one of his vital organs, meaning his eye. He's legally blind in one eye.
And then I remember real specifically trying to teach him his ABCs, and I would show him these slides, and he just couldn't get it.
And he would just guess at the different letters. A, B. I mean, it was just so sad to watch because he had no idea. Well, to really believe that he was developmentally handicapped was something that we had to come to grips with. Will he be able to catch a ball? Will he be able to run? Will he be able to finish college? All those things went through our minds.
You see your classmates being able to do all this stuff very easily and getting stuff very easily, and I was that far behind, and I didn't know why. I was too young to understand.
Because sports were his love, and so we found a great school system that could help kids with his issue.
I started off in the low-level classes in junior high, and still did this special ed, worked with all the special ed teachers, and the academics were killing me. You know, high school, it was tough. I was moving out of the standard low-level classes and moving up into the classes with all my friends, which I've always wanted to do.
Well, you know, this is Caleb's senior year. He's been mainstreamed in school.
God gave me a great gift, and that's being able to play football. You know, I had an opportunity to play college football. I had a whole bunch of recruits after me from all over the place. The thing that wasn't getting me into the schools that I wanted or could have gotten into was the test scores.
Caleb took the ACT 3 different times, and he did not do well.
Sat down with my parents and I said, listen, you know, I'm intent with not playing football. If that's what God says, then that's what God says. But if I don't make the score I need to this time, I'm not going to play.
So the morning came for him to take his test the 4th time.
And my dad wakes me up and said, Caleb, you got to go wake up and take your test.
And I said, Caleb, cry out to God. That's all I know to say, is that you and we have to cry out one more time, and we can't give up.
You know, him being the pastor that he is says, you know, I recommend you to kind of read a little bit and gather your thoughts and get on your knees and pray. And me being the teenager, yeah, Dad, I hear you.
And he said, okay. And after that, I went downstairs into my office, and half an hour later, my wife Joni comes down and says, Tom, come up, you got to see what's going on.
I threw on my headphones on my iPod and started listening to some music. There's an artist named Scott Stapp, and he's the old lead singer of Creed, and he has a song that is called Surround Me.
And I saw Caleb on the floor, on his knees. And I saw his hands raised to heaven.
I'm down on my knees, begging you to rescue me. Please stop me, don't let me run. Surround me, surround me.
And I see the tears just rolling down Caleb's face. And I see him on his knees, and he is crying out like I've never, ever, ever seen him before.
God really woke me up there. I just kind of was overwhelmed. I hit my knees and just started crying out, saying, God, you know, it's on you now. That's all I could say is it's on you.
And when I looked at that, I realized 2 things. One is that my son is trapped in a body that doesn't always work. It's a pit of despair, in fact.
And after the song turned off, I felt 2 hands on my shoulders. Turn around and look up, and it's my mom and dad there, and they're both sitting there crying with me.
And then the second thing I realized is that it's going to be different this time.
The thing I told my dad was I hugged him, and I whispered in his ear, we got it.
He took the test, and he improved 5 points. 5 points, that's a miracle on an ACT.
And God absolutely lifted him out of the despair and raised his grade, and it's been very exciting that a whole new world is opening to Caleb now.
I'm down on my knees, begging you to